Famous people who are not as rich as you think. For some celebs, life isn't all Malibu real estate, Ferraris, and Hennessy. In 2017, Experian reported that 73% of American consumers die with outstanding debt to the tune of $61,554 on average, and your favorite actors and sports stars aren't immune. Many of these celebs ruined themselves and burned their money and became broke just like that. As it turns out, even the most famous folks can wind up burdened by debt. And why wouldn't they? At the end of the day, they're just humans, like all of us. And we humans do make a lot of mistakes, don't we? The type of mistakes they made was definitely regrettable. From having millions, then going down to thousands, or maybe less than that, like being in huge debt. While personally, I would absolutely regret it. We're obsessed with celeb gossip, watching stars react to internet trolls, scrolling through most hated celebs lists, but our favorite type of drama revolves around how some of the richest, most famous people in Hollywood became broke celebrities. Over-the-top spending, tax troubles, and legal battles can all eat away at even the most enormous fortunes, as many of the celebs on this list found out. Gary Busey. Actor Gary Busey began studying theater after a knee injury derailed his plans to pursue pro sports. In 1971, he made his film debut in Angels Hard as They Come, and in 1978, he starred in The Buddy Holly Story. Later, he appeared in several action films, but his personal life was tumultuous, including a cocaine overdose and a near-death motorcycle accident. For an actor with a career spanning 5 decades, Gary Busey has less than $50,000 to his name and more than $500,000 in various debts. Busey made a name for himself as an actor in films including Thunderbolt and Lightfoot and Point Break, as well as television classics like Water, Texas Ranger. Despite his acting success, 76-year-old Busey indicated that he might owe money to everyone, from the IRS to various lawyers, UCLA Medical Center, Wells Fargo, LA County Waterworks Districts, and a storage company. He also noted that he might owe money to a woman called Carla Loeffler, who sued Busey for allegedly attacking her at a Tulsa airport a few years back. Lindsay Lohan. Once upon a time, Lindsay Lohan was on top of the most successful, loved, and known celebrity list. She was a fresh-faced, young actress who seemed destined for long-term success. However, all of that went away once her expensive spending habits and legal troubles got in the way. If we see her name in headlines in these days, we know for sure it's typically as a result of her latest scandals. Here's how Lohan made and lost the majority of her income, as well as the shockingly low net worth she has today, which according to reports is only $800,000 as of 2018. This number is particularly surprising considering she was a certified it girl in Hollywood in the earlier 2000s. Back in 2004, the year her most popular movie was released, Mean Girls, her net worth looked quite a bit different. Reports said that when Lohan was just 18 years old at that time, she was worth over $30 million, with over $20 million from her acting salary alone. In 2004, Lohan decided to give singing a try. She released her debut album, Speak, which actually shipped over 1 million copies. However, the reviews weren't exactly very good. Then back in 2008, she refocused her career by launching her own fashion line called 6126. And after a few years, she appeared nude in January-February 2012 issue of Playboy, which earned her $1 million. Then in August 2013, she earned $2 million to appear in a series of interviews with Oprah Winfrey. Apparently, blowing through millions is easier than one would think. Lohan couldn't help it but indulge in expensive spending habits, including huge ones on drugs, clubs, and drinking. Now she's suffering the consequences. And with Lohan's drug and alcohol problem came a whole slew of legal troubles. Between 2007 and 2013, she was arrested several times for DUIs, reckless driving altercations, and shoplifting. As her court appearances, mugshots, and rehab stints racked up, the amount of money she owed piled on. Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage was once a top earner in Hollywood, worth around $150 million. Cage was a prolific actor, occasionally making more than 5 movies in a single year. A number of his films went straight to video. In 2009, Cage was named Global Citizen of the Year by the United Nations for his humanitarian efforts, notably his involvement in creating a fund for former child soldiers. Nicolas Cage blew the majority of his money on ridiculous purchases, making his net worth go down to $25 million. At one point, Cage owned 15 residences across the world, including homes in California and Las Vegas and a deserted island in the Bahamas. He also bought a series of more bizarre items, including a 9-foot-tall burial tomb, an octopus, shrunken pygamy heads, a $150,000 Superman comic, and a 70-million-year-old dinosaur skull, which he later had to return to the Mongolian government. Throughout the years, Cage loaded up on real estate, including 2 European castles, which he purchased for $10 million and $2.3 million respectively, and a $15.7 million countryside estate in Newport, Rhode Island. Despite his financial ruin, Cage doesn't regret all of his purchases. 50 Cent. Not too long ago, 50 Cent was one of the richest rappers in the hip-hop industry, having a net worth of $155 million after taxes. After being discovered by rapper and hip-hop star Eminem, 50 Cent rose to fame as a musician in 2002 after signing a $1 million record deal with rapper/producer Dr. Dre. Within 5 years, hits such as In the Club and Candy Shop made 50 Cent into one of the biggest names in hip-hop. So now you're probably wondering how he lost all his money. Today, 50 Cent is estimated to have just $15 million. After watching his worth climb to $155 million in 2015, he somehow found himself in that same year. The hip-hop singer declared bankruptcy days after he was found guilty of releasing a sex tape online on June 2015, which he has ordered to pay $5 million to the victim. The previous year, he had been ordered to pay $17 million to headphone manufacturer Sleek Audio for copying their designs. According to bankruptcy filings, the rapper was $32.5 million in debt with estimated assets of $16 million, leaving him $16.5 million in red. The case has since been resolved. The rapper agreed to pay off $23 million in debts over 5 years back in 2016. However, it has left his net worth diminished. Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson is arguably ranked in the top 15 heavyweight boxers to ever step foot into the gladiatorial arena, but he's ranked much higher in the pound-for-pound spectacular spending stakes. Life for Mike Tyson was going well by his own standards, then it all started to go downhill. Now living with only 1% of the $400 million he was worth at the beginning of his career, the former boxer champion lost a huge amount of money after dealing with enormous spending habits, serving a prison sentence, and debt to the IRS. Less than a year after losing his world title, Mike was accused of raping Desiree Washington and sentenced to 6 years prison time. He still denies the charges today. When Mike was released from prison in 1995 after serving 4 years, he had a reported $300 million in the bank, until he started to spend them on cars, houses, jewelry, expensive clothes, Siberian tigers, etc. During this time period, Mike also bought a 21-bedroom and 24-bathroom mansion in Connecticut with an on-site casino and a nightclub. He also purchased estates in Maryland, Las Vegas, and Ohio, where he had gold-plated furnishings and a basketball court. He's said to have purchased 111 cars in his lifetime. At his peak, he owned a limited edition Bentley Continental SC that cost $500,000 and was one of only 73 ever made. He owned several Ferraris, Lamborghinis, a Range Rover, a Mercedes 500, and a 1995 Rolls-Royce. The spending sprees and stories are endless. The village promoters such as Don King also had their pound of flesh from Tyson, but he admitted that it was all his fault, and that he had a great time regardless. He also owed the IRS $13.4 million, British tax authorities were also owed $4 million, and several law firms were owed nearly $1 million.